There's clearly a bit of a prize sitting in the middle of the RTS genre right now. Plenty of devs see it, plenty of them want to inherit it, and the prize is simple enough. Be the game that finally scratches that old school Command & Conquer itch properly. Welcome back to LT Gaming, my name is Tom, and we do everything here from previews to thoughtful takes on games, and of course RTS is part of that mix. Today we're checking back in on Defcon Zero, because since I last covered it, it's starting to feel a lot less like just another promising indie RTS, and something more like a project that's making some very cool choices about the kind of game it wants to be. But if you like your gaming coverage with a bit more meat on the bone, do us a favour, like the video, help us get out there on the algorithm, subscribe if you think I do a good job, and let me know in the comments when it comes to modern RTS games. Do you want them chasing the classic formulas as closely as possible? Do they need to evolve and stand out? Because I think Defcon Zero is in an interesting position. It's got the C&C flavoured DNA, sure, but now with funding, growth in the team, a roadmap, and this clear single player direction first, it might be time to dig into this one a bit more, so let's go. Now, a quick caveat on this one before I carry on. The video is going to be focused around the latest state of Defcon Zero and the more recent developments around the project, so what they're aiming to do and all that sort of stuff. If you want a fuller breakdown of the core gameplay mechanics and some of the earlier details that first caught my eye, check out the original video I did not so long ago, link will be in the description. Now, if you missed our first take on Defcon Zero, let me get you up to speed. It stood out to me because it wasn't just doing the nostalgia thing. Yeah, the DNA is obvious, of course, base building, harvesters, power management. Any RTS fan is going to resonate and be nodding at the screen to this. But back then what caught my eye was the idea of evolving the idea somewhat. Smarter infantry, units choosing weapons more intelligently, weather affecting the combat, and just a tone that was more in line with what I'm looking for from a modern day RTS. It felt familiar but not completely stuck in amber. It genuinely is trying to push the genre forward. But it's no longer just an interesting concept with a nice trailer and some good mechanics on paper. Since then the project has got funding, the team has grown quite a bit, and they've moved into full-time development. And they've brought in outside technical support and inspirations. And it really matters because in RTS ambition can be cheap. Loads of games can promise factions, campaigns, world building, clever systems, all that jazz. The harder bit is showing a real production plan underneath it all, and with Defcon Zero that side of the picture is looking very serious and I'm really amped for it. At its core, don't get me wrong, Defcon Zero has a lot of the old school RTS blocks in place, so base building, resource gathering, all of that stuff, where you're going to turn your economy into map control before the other side does and ruins your day. So that's all familiar and that's how it should be. What is the more interesting stuff that I'm going to dive into is what's beneath the classic loops. The devlogs have been pretty clear, they're not aiming for big tank blobs crashing into each other and then just calling that depth. They want a real focus on how battles will actually play out. Things like weapon priority, recon, close quarters combat, and combined arms all shaping how the flow of the fight feels. One of the more promising ideas that I've read about is that units will behave with a bit more of a sense on their own. This means things around target priority, different ammunition types, and units choosing the right weapon for the right threat. It sounds like a small thing, but in RTS that sort of combat logic will matter a lot. Be the difference between a battle feeling sharp and then just you having a total mash of things. Some interesting developments on the infantry side as well. They've talked a lot about CQB, urban fighting, troops using vehicles as mobile cover, and units handling some of the moment-to-moment decision making for themselves. That's very good if they can make it work. More autonomy with your infantry, I'm all for it. Recon also sounds like it's going to land differently, not just clearing fog of war for the sake of it, but using air and ground scouting to spot threats, read enemy positions, so you can essentially make better choices and decisions before you commit to an engagement. The whole thing is going to go for a slightly more deliberate feel. This reminds me of something like Warno or Regiments, where they're going more for a milsim type of approach. Even the economy seems to be aiming for a different balance. So you'll be scrapping for resource points that they actually matter and they will become part of the map fight, but hopefully not so fiddly that you spend half the match feeling like you're doing logistics as well. So this is really the pitch with Defcon Zero, how they're trying to do things differently. They're not reinventing RTS from scratch. They're taking familiar tropes and things we know, and hopefully giving it a bit more tactical shape through smarter battlefield behaviour, more useful infantry, better recon, and just hopefully a stronger combined arms feel. Alright, a quick one from me. If you are liking the video, give it a like, help us out there on the YouTube sea of videos. Subscribe if you are new, we know a lot of you aren't. We do cover a lot of games on this channel, and especially trying to put a spotlight on the ones doing something more interesting than just chasing the latest trend or hype. So yeah, let's get back to it. So coming on to one of the main reasons I wanted to come back to Defcon Zero, because since we've last looked at it, it's gone from a nice RTS idea to a game moving into proper production. Probably the biggest headline is they secured funding, 4.4 million euros. Now I'm not going to sit here and pretend I understand the implications of this from the outside looking in, because I don't. But bloody hell, I'm really happy to see it. A project like this, getting some proper backing, moving into full-time development, able to grow the team and secure a workspace and all those things. This is going to give it a lot more weight and deliver a lot more professional product, which can only mean good things for us, the gamer. One of the things I've seen them doing is making some hires, so concept artists, UI UX support, tech art. Not the flashiest updates in the world, sure, but these are the sort of things that will tell you it's a team thinking about how the game is going to be at launch, not just the pitch. They also teamed up with the Rocket Science Group, so this partnership stands out because it's going to strengthen all the foundations around the game, responsiveness, pathfinding, AI, scale, performance, all the things that us fans will want to see in the final product. So all in all, this project looks like it's got a very stable foundation which to go forward with, and that's extremely exciting news for me. So one of the big things that they've clarified is that Defcon Zero's first incarnation is going to be built around single player only, so skirmish and campaign first, and after reading some of their reasonings, I do think some of it actually makes quite a bit of sense. They view this as a brand new RTS world with new factions, new rules, and they don't want to rely solely on the nostalgia safety net. So rather than piling on multiplayer on top immediately, they want to balance everything out and make sure that Defcon Zero single player is hitting the mark. When I took a closer look at the factions, it does track somewhat. Era is aiming for this cleaner, more advanced military style, more structured, more precision, just essentially better equipped. ARM is your rougher, more improvisational faction, a lot more ideologically based, who are going to want to drag fights into this close, ugly chaos. So if they want a distinct feel to these factions, single player is going to give them room to build that through missions, pacing and scenario design, rather than sanding everything down for a competitive fairness. It lines up with the rest of what they said that they want to focus on: smarter AI, richer mission design, evolving systems. All of these elements are going to be more complex with multiplayer in the mix, so I can get behind the logic of fleshing out the single player first and making sure that it feels good on that level, and I know a lot of people watching this video will agree. However, there's going to be an element who will join solely for that angle, so it is a bit of a balanced take here. So all the positive things being said, there is plenty this game still needs to prove, because a lot of what is exciting around Defcon Zero, the smarter units, recon, faction identity, it all sounds great, but RTS is a genre that does live and die in execution. I said that before and I'll say it forever. So pathfinding, responsiveness, the pacing of a game, if those aren't right, the whole thing could unravel very quickly. From their roadmap, it looks like they want to do a playtest, so that's very encouraging as well. So I'm very much in the cautious optimism camp on this one. I do like the direction. I like they seem to understand they have to make Era and ARM feel meaningfully different, not just visually distinct. And I like the single player focus on the campaign and skirmish modes. But on the balance side of things, it's one to watch but not one to crown so early. We need to see more gameplay under pressure, more proof that all these systems really connect and work together, and of course a demo people can get their hands on and give feedback. But over to you guys now. Do you like the look of Defcon Zero? Does the single player first approach make sense to you, or do you think leaving multiplayer out is too big of a gamble? If you have enjoyed the video, give it a like, it helps us get out there. Subscribe if you think I did a good job in the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye bye now.